Welcome back. This is Weblan. We are continuing with revising grade 11 paper 2 June 2024 Eastern Cape. The second question is giving us this diagram. We have a quadrilateral ASBO with these vertices with given coordinates, and we are told that in this diagram K is the midpoint of AS, and also we are told that AT is perpendicular to BS, and we are also given the angle of inclination for line BS, and these are the questions that we are supposed to answer. The first question is asking us to determine the length of line AS. Determine the length of AS. Determining the length of AS here, we can use the distance formula since we have two coordinates, but the question I think is having only one mark, so it might not be very necessary to use the distance formula. Please notice that both coordinates, the y value is 16, so that tells us that this line is parallel to the x-axis. If it is parallel to the x-axis, then it's a matter of finding the difference between the x values of the two coordinates. So we are saying AS is equal to 12 minus 4. That gives us 8 units. But if you want to use the distance formula, that will be AS is equal to the square root of x1 minus x2. We can start with n of the 2. Let me start with 4. So we are saying 4 minus 12, it's squared, plus 16 minus 16, which is squared. 16 for A and 16 for S. And this is going to give us 16 minus 16, it's a 0. 4 minus 12, it's a negative 8. So we are saying here, remember distance is positive here, so we don't need to put plus or minus. So it's square root of negative 8, which is squared. And this is just going to give us an 8 units. That is the first question. And then the second question is saying determine the coordinates of K, which is the midpoint of AS. Even this question is just one mark. Remember we said this line is parallel to the x-axis, so it's a matter of finding the midpoint between 12 and 4. This is 12 plus 4, that's 16. 16 divided by 2, that's 8. So the coordinate there should be 8 as to 16, because it is also having 16 as its y value. But you can use the midpoint formula, that is k x1 plus x2 over 2 as to y1 plus y2 over 2. So our k would be, my x1, let's take 4, so it's 4 plus x2 is 12 over 2 s2, 16 plus 16 over 2. So my k there, let me write it here. The coordinates of k then will be 4 plus 12, 16 divided by 2 is 8, s2, 16 and 16, 32 divided by 2 is still 16. So these are the coordinates of K. I can write it here, 8 as to 16 there. And then after that, the third question was asking for the gradient of line BS. How do we get gradient of line BS here? We do have a coordinate, but here we do not have a complete coordinate. We do not have a complete coordinate. So what do? We are given the angle of inclination, and we know that tan theta is equal to m, right? Tan theta is equal to m, and we are given the value of theta here. So it's a matter of saying tan 63,43 is equal to what? The question was saying round it off to the nearest whole number. Round it off to the nearest whole number. This is going to be 1.99 something something, which is rounded off to be 2. So the gradient of BS there is 2 when you have rounded it off to the nearest whole number. And then after that, the last question in this part, question 2,2,3, was saying determine the equation of line AT. For us to determine the equation of a straight line, we need two things. We need gradient and a point on the line. We already have a point on the line. And how do we get the gradient of AT? We do have gradient of BS, that is 2, and the line in question here is perpendicular to the line that we already have. So we know that m times m1 times m2 is equal to -1 if and only if the lines are perpendicular, and these two lines are perpendicular. We already know the gradient of the first line, so it's going to be 2 multiplied by m2 is equal to -1, and 2 is multiplying. When it goes to the other side, it divides, so our gradient will be -1 over 2. Now we have our gradient and we have our point, and we can use the formula y minus y1 is equal to our gradient multiplied by x minus x1. Our gradient, that is our m, and then x1 and y1 is the point. So it's y minus our y value there, it's 16 is equal to -1 over 2 bracket x minus the x1 there is 4, and then simplify there, y is equal to your 16 is negative, it goes to the other side, it becomes positive. -half times x is -1 over 2x. -half times -4, it becomes positive, which is positive 2, and -16 becomes positive 16. So the equation is y is equal to -1 over 2x plus 18. That is the equation. That's all we have for the first question, which was asking for the distance of AS. Thus we got 8 units. And the second one was asking for the coordinates of K, the midpoint, it is 8s to 16. And the third one was asking for the gradient of BS. We got 2. And the very last question was asking for the equation of line TA. And we got y is equal to -1 over 2x plus 18. This question was relatively easy. We will continue with the next question, question number 3. Enjoy.